Pimping ain't easy, huh? Anyway, so my last person, he said, let me get my thoughts together. But he kept talking good stuff. And I was like, you sure? Can I start now? Whatever, to interview him. And he was like, no, but I don't have the answers. I don't have solutions. Let me tell you, we talked about a good hour out here in front of Costco's. I got my yum yum for today. My yum yum and some water. But man, he's from Minnesota originally, and his son lives out here, and he's a hockey coach, and his wife is a 4-time something runner or something. And man, he has some really good ideas. And we was just, he's a white male, probably about, I would say, yeah, he had to be about my age. And you know, the conversation was just like, you know, really good. And then he began to say that he's more of a, you know, began to talk about his personality. And he said, you know, he read an article about, he said it was talking about introvert, extrovert, and now it is putting something in the middle saying ultravert. And he was saying, that's what I am, or something like that. And you know, I don't know, the part that struck out the most, he had a lot of good points, a lot of good points, a lot of experience, you can tell, and just like down to earth, like one of those can be honest and say, you know, I was able to be honest and talk about black, white, hate, you know, and all this other stuff, and the differences between differences. And the part that stuck out the most was when he said, he followed me after I said, okay, you know, I'm gonna go now. I didn't want to ask him anymore, you ready, you want to do it? He just kept wanting to talk, but I was like, I gotta go. It's so hot out here in Arizona. And I was standing where he was sitting in his car, and I was standing in the sun, and I was like, I don't have no water, oh my goodness. But and then I opened the side of my car and sat there for a little while. We talked. But so when I went inside, he followed me. I looked around after I showed my card to get in. He right there, and still wanting to talk or whatever. But and that's when he said, do you believe that he said, do you believe that it can get to the point of, you know, I forgot exactly how he said it, but it was like, get to the point of somebody's telling you exactly what to do, exactly how to think, exactly where to go. You know, he didn't say it like that. That's how I'm interpreting it. And the way I responded, I was like, I am nobody's slave, and I should have my own mind to be able to think and do what I want to do and think how I want to think. And but I said that's what's motivating me now, is because it's very extreme on no matter what you talk about. You can be talking about tying your shoes, it's to the extreme. You could be talking about how you drive a car, it's to the extreme. You could be talking about the hot sun outside, and the responses and the conversation is going to be to the extreme. So You ever felt like you have so much energy and you want to just go and go and go, but it's like your brain, your mind is like, you've had enough. Sit it down. Okay, so I just got up. It's like almost 9 in the morning. I'm about to head out. And I was still thinking about that last person I talked to. The one that I had the very long conversation with. And I don't know if I mentioned that in the video when I was closing it out, is that, oh yes, I did. And he's really worried, and you can see the worry on his face, even though whatever his preference was as far as his views and stance living here in America, the main thing is like taking away the voice, pretty much, like taking away freedom of speech. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I said, that's what's motivating me, because I'm all about voice. However, each individual is willing to have it. And whether you agree or do not agree, you know, it's pretty disheartening to hear someone take away somebody's voice and only have the voice that you want them to have, or be able to control the mind to speak the way you want them to speak, to think the way you want them to think, to hate the way you want them to hate, to never love the way you never want them to have compassion, care and compassion for others. To me, my personal views, my perspective, that is very sickening to me. And so I am very quiet at times, but there are times I come out of my shell and I'm very vocal. And just the other day, I asked somebody, I was like, why are you always picking on me? Why are you always, you know, saying your little pop shots and this and that to me? And they was like, because you from New York and you can handle it. And then they was like, you're from the Bronx. I was like, don't get it twisted. I am not from the Boogie Down Bronx. I'm from Jamaica, Queens. But I always pop back at her when she says stuff to me. It's all out of love, you know. And whatever's embedded within her mind, and I take out whatever's embedded into my mind. But it's like I don't agree with holding back someone's voice just because you don't like it and it makes you cringe, or you need to sweep those things under the carpet. Another thing, I'm trying to think if I mentioned this also. I know I mentioned it to the guy that I had the long conversation with off camera. And I mentioned to him, you know, there was a gentleman, a nurse at work I was speaking to. And, oh man, this really hurt. Like he was saying when he was in school, you know, he would write his papers, and he wrote a paper, and he put his own thoughts on the paper from his own thoughts. Now, it wasn't graded by grammar, punctuation, or context or anything like that. It was because it did not agree with what the professor or teacher was saying, and he got a bad grade. And so he said the next paper he did exactly the way she was thinking, and it, you know, or the way she was teaching for them to think, and he got a excellent grade. He got a good grade. And I was like, that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, that's deep. And so the guy I was talking to for a long time, he was like, see, and he said the same thing. Also, you know, he mentioned about his kids and how he had to pull one out of school because of, you know, something similar or whatever. And then he mentioned that as a hockey coach, he said, you know what, it's not even about, you know, the teaching and training the youth. It's all about money. You know, there's billions of dollars, people with buku money in hockey and stuff like that. He said, but that's all it's about is the money. You know, he said a couple other things, but the main big issue is freaking money. Big money. You know, people don't care how people feel, how people think, or teaching the youth or things of that nature. It's like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to end it right there. Have a good day. Peace.